This is the first video of a series that I will be uploading following along my rehab process for my distal bicep tendon rupture. I've been very active. I play pretty much any sport under the sun. Maybe not to the highest quality, but definitely participate. I ran my first half marathon a couple years ago, ran another one last year, and I was training for my first marathon this year up until this injury happened. And I've actually been going on runs since. I don't find that it was discomforting at all while running. I will have to talk to my orthopedic surgeon to see whether or not I can continue doing that after the surgery. I imagine there will be some discomfort because of the incision and the wound and the stitches and whatnot. But we'll see. We'll see how fast I can get back to piling on the miles there. I work out usually 5 to 6 times a week. I work out towards more of the powerlifting side. I like hitting heavy compounds with low to moderate reps as opposed to your bodybuilding parameters, high reps, a lot of volume. I almost felt like when working out, it was a nootropic for me. It would allow me to retain memory, allow me to study better in school, allow me to sleep better, which in turn allowed me to consolidate whatever I learned quicker, more organized. And so I just stuck with it. Why fix something that isn't broke? This injury happened to me when I was at the gym. I was deadlifting with a mixed grip. I usually work my way up, warm up with progressive weight on the bar up until I feel like my grip is about to go. And depending on whether or not I have chalk with me that day, I will try to squeeze that grip out even more by switching to over underhand or mixed grip. And that is where I'm sure most of you have come to realize where this injury happens. Position where one of their hands is supinated and one of their hands is pronated, and they go to pull. The supinated grip is at a disadvantage when it comes to leverage and length of muscle. Your bicep, because it attaches to your radius, is turned out more, and so it's lengthened longer, meaning that there's more tension on it. So if anything were to happen during that pull, the supinated grip is the one that usually tears. So that happened to me. I loaded the bar up way too fast, just trying to get through the workout. It was at a weight that I had not had problems with in the past. Pretty sure it just popped my bicep. Yeah, just detached it. Fuck me. So it wasn't a PR, but I was rushing my workout. I wanted to get in and out of the gym, and I didn't warm up properly. I hit my top set, or I tried to hit my top set within being in the gym 15, 20 minutes. I must have ramped up with progressively heavier weights on the bar. Tried to pull 465 in about 20 minutes. Still had my hoodie on, was still warming up, barely had a sweat on me. And so, I mean, you live and you learn. Won't do that next time. I am 2 weeks post-injury. If you're anything like me and you scoured the internet, you found data, some studies, some papers say that you should abstain from all different types of physicality. So pretty much just bed rest for 6 weeks. And then you see other vlog their journey, document their journey online, and they're back out in the gym the next day, obviously doing light work, staying away from the injured site, but working other muscles, working other parts of the body. And you're confused. You don't know what you should do. You don't know who to listen to. Times are definitely changing. I know I was talking to my orthopedic surgeon during our consultation, and he said 20 years ago there was not even the thought of a non-surgical route for this injury. It was every time someone came in with this type of injury, they were always put on the surgery schedule. Whereas now, depending on where you are in life, your condition, what you're asking your body to do in the future, you can opt out for the surgery. Your quality of life will be just fine. So a little background on me. I went to school for dentistry, And so I have a foundation on anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, basically how the body works, how it assimilates nutrition, how hormones work, how hormones can affect the body. And so, as you can imagine, when this injury happened, I was very curious as to how I can expedite the healing process. And as someone who has never taken any exogenous hormones or steroids, this was the time that piqued my interest the most. I was doing research online to see how people dealt with this injury. A lot of people, if not most, who were athletes turned to some help in the form of exogenous hormones or peptides. Myself included, there was probably a 2-day period where I was convinced that I was going to introduce GH, growth hormone, some sort of peptides that help heal tendons and ligaments quicker, as well as androgenic hormones to increase musculature and just overall help with the repair process of the body. The down regulation or the suppression of my natural hormones. That's kind of what led me to choose not to undergo that. But I can definitely bump up natural GH in natural ways. So diet, eating non-inflammatory foods, regular exercise, using specific sets, reps, and rest periods in between, as well as heat and cold therapy, so sauna and cold. I'll discuss in detail all of my lifestyle changes that I plan to adopt, as well as my reason for choosing surgery over non-surgery in my next video.